everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, May 19th, 2024. Oh, how times have changed. 40 years ago, when Victor was keeping a prisoner in his basement, he fed the guy rats. But now here we are in 2024, and so much information has come out about how high in cholesterol rats are. And so Victor switched it up to a much more heart-healthy option for torture. Brussels sprouts. My, how he has softened. Oh my gosh, you guys. Oh my gosh. This is phenomenal. I cannot even tell you how much I enjoyed Victor bringing that silver platter down to Jordan's cell and unveiling that mound of gross little green death balls. Yuck. Bleh. I mean, they didn't even look cooked. When Brussels sprouts are cooked, they lose their color. But these Brussels sprouts were bright green. The only thing worse than a cooked Brussels sprout is an uncooked Brussels sprout. And then Victor put one of them in his mouth. And now here's the truly great part. He spit it out through the bars of Jordan's cage. Ugh. Do you guys think that that was improvised? Because I don't know, something about it felt so spontaneous, and that to me made it so compelling. Ugh, after all of these years, Eric Braeden as Victor Newman, be you hero or villain, you are fascinating to watch. Ugh. Ugh. And because I just have always felt like spitting on someone is like the lowest thing that you could do. And for him to just spit on her or spit at her really demonstrated how much he detests her. I mean, the spitting that at her demonstrates that to me even more so than the fact that he's keeping her in this homemade prison. Just the spit. I mean, that was just, it was such a great moment. And there was this other really great moment when, despite multiple warnings, Jordan kept saying Nikki's name. Victor was like, keep her name out your mouth, Jordan. And she kept doing it. She kept saying Nikki's name anyway and mentioning her. And Victor just reached through the bars of the cell and grabbed her by the collar and gave her a warning to knock it off. I mean, it was gritty. It felt dangerous, especially because Victor's never been the kind of guy in my years of watching, in my experience with him, to lay hands on a woman at all. But I guess that just goes to show that to Victor, Jordan is not even a woman. She's not even a human. She is subhuman to him. She is just a rat in a cage. I really want to know what Victor's plan for Jordan is, because Cole reiterated this week that he and Victoria were both afraid that Victor was planning some kind of revenge on Jack. And when Jordan was pleading with Victor to let her out, her logic was, use me. I am the bullet in your gun. Who do you want me to target? So maybe it is Victor's plan to point Jordan at Jack, which is kind of the direction that I want to see. It's just the kind of mayhem that I want to see. I'm for reigniting the Victor-Jack feud for a little bit, using Jordan to do it. But now I don't know. Maybe Cole will end up putting a stop to it. On Friday, Cole was telling Nick that he doubted Victor's story about Jordan. And I chuckled a little bit when Cole said, do you think that Victor could be keeping a secret? And Nick thought about it for about a second, and then he replied, yeah. Duh. And then in the preview, of course, we see that Cole sees Victor coming upstairs through the secret passageway hole in the wall, carrying his silver platter, looking rather pleased with himself. So, is Cole going to secretly travel down that rabbit hole and find his Aunt Jordan at the bottom? Because I think that will be a very interesting conflict for good guy Cole. Will he see Jordan there and have sympathy for the devil? Or will he decide to unleash the monster? Well, I cannot believe that Kyle would say in front of Harrison, would you like for Claire to be your nanny? When he knows that Summer is against it and they were just arguing about it 5 minutes before he said it. I just think it is so totally wrong for him to go rogue there. I mean, you can argue back and forth about whether or not Claire is a suitable nanny. But wherever you fall on that argument, it wasn't agreed upon between them. And then to go and mention it to the kid is to use the kid to get your way. And I think that's wrong. Even if in Kyle's mind he was trying to make something right, I still think that it was wrong. And I have no doubt that Kyle had Harrison's best interests at heart. But I also think that, in a way, Kyle is really feeling like he needs to redeem himself over the guilt that he was feeling like he was the one who let Harrison be in danger. When he was thinking that maybe Claire was responsible for kidnapping Harrison, he had that guilt of feeling responsible for it because he was the one who left them alone together. And now, if Claire's totally okay and she's just, in fact, good for Harrison and alone with him all the time, well then he is just, and is and was, totally justified in what he did. But also I think he's becoming friendly with her completely separately. I think he's developing this personal relationship with her and he wants to have her around. I'm not sure if Kyle yet is processing it as attraction, even though we all know that's exactly what it is too. Hooray! Yay for Christine. Yay. She made the right decision. She made the right choice. She chose love. Or I don't know, maybe fate chose it for her. I'm not entirely clear on whether or not she decided not to take the big case, or if something happened and they no longer needed her. But whatever, I don't care. Concert teas and late night Chinese food it is. I'm in love with this fantasy. Even if we never see it, I'm seeing it in my mind. Danny and Chris on the road together, being happy, just living life. And if they must be leaving the show, and that's kind of the impression that I get, that maybe they're both going on a break for a little while. If they must leave the show, then this is how I want to think of them. This is the happy ending that I'm happy with. And oh, Phyllis can just learn to accept it, okay? Maybe demonstrate a little growth here, can ya? And just choose to accept that Danny prefers Christine for whatever reason. She's the one he wants. She's the one that meets his need. Just accept it, Phyllis, and don't go ballistic over it. And don't have sour grapes about it. So, I mean, the heart wants what it wants, even if it doesn't want you. It's not about you. It doesn't say anything about you. It's just that that's what Danny's heart wants. So Phyllis needs to just move on. But I'm wondering exactly what that's going to be. It's funny, like last year at this time, Phyllis was front burner. She was getting the Eileen Davidson story where it was all about Phyllis after she faked her death. And now she's at a little bit of a loose end. But we had a couple of clues this week. First of all, she had that odd scene with Tucker, where Tucker sat down at her table at Crimson Lights and asked her, of all people, for parenting advice. The woman who had her son legally taken away from her, and then who also just most recently let both of her children think that she was dead. She's the perfect person to ask parenting advice of. I felt sorry for Tucker. He seemed just desperate to talk to someone. So, but I don't know. I mean, they have an interesting push and pull between them. They don't like each other, but yet they're willing to tolerate each other. So I'm wondering if they could possibly become involved in the future, be it romantic or in business, or possibly for romance and business. I don't know. They all tend to get twisted up together. And they certainly both do have an interest in wreaking havoc at Chancellor Winters for opposite reasons. Phyllis quit working at Chancellor Winters this week. She told Devon that he could just take his job and shove it, which is hilarious to me because I don't think I ever saw Phyllis in that office even one time. But she was so incensed that her immediate reaction to it all was, well, they burned my son, and so then I'm gonna burn them. I'm gonna release a virus into their system, and I'm gonna do it right here on the couch in the middle of the athletic club where no one can see me. Thank goodness for Nick. Always there to rein Phyllis in to a leveler head. Sorta. Oh, I have to tell you, I am so charmed by the chemistry between Phyllis and Nick on Friday. I mean, they just have a way with each other. There is just a dynamic between them that is so apparent, and it is so unique, and it's just so fun. And at the end of that scene, when he said to her That's a great color on you, by the way. I was dying, and she sort of like awkwardly said, well, thank you, it's very electric. I mean, they're so cute together. I remember feeling disappointed when Nick and Phyllis broke up last time. I think Nick suddenly decided he was fed up with her hijinks, whatever. Because it just didn't even seem like justified when they broke up last time. And I remember thinking that it fell out of the blue. Out of the electric blue. And I don't know. I guess just in my mind, they're still unresolved. That's it. You know, forget it. I want a Nick and Phyllis reunion. Based on one scene, I want a Nick and Phyllis reunion. Until I see a scene of Nick being cute with Sharon. And then I want a Sharon and Nick reunion. Maybe I just want the Nick, Sharon, Phyllis triangle until I get it. And then I'm like, ugh, we've been here before. I don't know what I want. But I want it. I don't know what I want, but I want it. Y&R, can you just take care of that for me? Is that too much to ask? Oh. I mean, I kind of thought we were being foreshadowed a Nick and Sharon reunion this year. Wasn't there something about fate, blah, 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 fated to be together, blah, blah, blah. Where is that? And where is Sharon? Somebody tell Sharon to get back here and fight with Phyllis over Nick some more. So, Jill decided to secretly hand over all of her Chancellor Winter's power to Billy. Smooth move, Jill. That really, really worked out for you, didn't it? I mean, after all of these years in business, working for Chabot, working for Newman, working for Chabot, working for Chancellor Warner, you would think that Jill would have realized that she was outnumbered and that basically all Devon and Lily had to do to put a stop to it was call a board vote. It's just, I don't know. This whole development this week just seems like such nothing burger to me. It all just seems so unnecessary. I mean, first of all, Billy becoming Jill's proxy was in theory only. She could have just stepped back in whenever she felt like stepping back in. Second of all, Billy never owned anything, wasn't going to be owning anything. Like, at most, he just didn't have to check in with his mom quite as often. And third, all of the board seats were always completely the same, which means that the Winters always had control all along. In fact, all Jill managed to do was reduce her own number on the Chancellor side by stepping away. Instead of having she and Billy, she was just having Billy. So really, I don't know. I felt like Lily and Devon and Nate, they were all in a tizzy over a whole lot of nothing. It feels like more business drama that never really materializes. I don't know. But I guess it will be interesting to see when Billy gets back and, back from his so-called power move. Lily was like, this is Billy firing the first shot going off on a business trip. How is this a first shot? I don't know. Billy's power move was he was going to go off on a business trip. And I guess it'll be interesting when he comes back to find out, for him to find out what Lily and Devon almost pulled off. And I say almost because a little birdie named Abby Newman just flew in and pooped all over Devon's plans. Just imagine that. Abby has a little birdie flying in and just pooping right on Devon's plans. Ooh. She said, oh, have a mind of my own? Well, I say good for you, Abby. I'm telling you, my Abby approval rating went way up this week. Especially when I think of her as a beautiful little bird pooping on Devon's plans. Because Devon is so terrified that he might lose a shred of power that he even stooped to asking his father for help. Oh, okay. So is that the father that you were too good to barely speak to last week? Oh, now you need something from him. Devon is a real brat. Let's just call it what it is. I mean, I love Devon. He's in my heart forever, but he is such a brat. He's somehow stumbled backwards into this billion-dollar inheritance, and now somehow he thinks that he's like the greatest businessman of all time. And he's just got this stuck-up air about him, like Tucker should have been honored that the king decided to come down from his castle to make a personal request of him. Oh, but don't expect any favors in return, okay? This isn't quid pro quo, okay? Here's how this works, Dad. You're gonna do what I want, and you're gonna like it. And then you're gonna go back to whatever hole you crawled out of. Maybe I'll think about inviting you to my 4th of July barbecue this year. If you're lucky. If you deliver the goods, that is. So Devon sought Tucker out, wanting to know if Tucker had any leverage on Jill from the way back that Devon could use now to try to overthrow her. Again, Billy is Jill's son. She is 75 years old. Is she not allowed to lean on her son for her family business? Like, surely you might expect that Jill might retire and want to appoint him eventually. Like, you chose this merger, Lily and Devon. You knew who you were working with. And Jill is not required to work forever. Billy is a perfectly suitable replacement. I did love Esther scurrying up to Lily, though, to find out what the latest office gossip was. Like, Jill sent an email to Esther asking her to forward all of her emails to Billy, and Esther said, "Ooh, gossip." That's the reason I come here. Yeah, I don't know. The whole drama is just not really all that dramatic to me. The real drama to me is with Daniel's lawsuit, and when are we going to see that play out? Is Lily softening now? I'm surprised. Because Daniel stopped by Lily's office this week trying to convince Lily to just give him Princess Louisa. I can't believe that he thought that that was going to work. But maybe it did. I don't know. I mean, Daniel kind of flashing those cute skater boy eyes and smile. It makes sense when you're trying to get her into bed, but those days are over now. I can't believe he thought that was going to work. Daniel, bless his heart, is not a negotiator. He is not an aggressor. And I kept feeling like he really should have just sent Heather to do the talking for him. He's so soft. He was like personally hurt when he ran into Abby at the athletic club this week, he was carrying his little duffel bag. I was fascinated by the duffel bag. I was fascinated by the idea that someone was actually doing athletics at the athletic club. We need a gym set, okay? We need a gym set for some hot bods this summer, okay? But I have digressed. Daniel runs into Abby, and she admits to him that she voted to fight his lawsuit. And Daniel was really upset. He was really dismissive of her over it. And he kind of implied that she was only doing what Devon wanted her to do. And I think that's what ultimately set Abby on the path of defiance when it came to her vote for the surprise board vote with Jill later. So I don't know. I thought that was really uncharacteristic of him to lash out at her that way. Daniel is seeming really on edge. Maybe he's even at a crossroads for the character. I don't know. He claims that developing Princess Louisa is what saved him from becoming a miserable loser. And now that it's gone, maybe he's in danger of becoming that again? It was interesting to see Daniel confiding in Tessa this week. Yes. I think Tessa makes a great bartender / shoulder to cry on, and we should probably need to see that a little more often. You know, Tessa was listening to Daniel, but she was also talking about herself, because she has, you know, plenty of tears that she has cried. She understands. I almost couldn't believe that it was happening when she was recounting the story of how she and Mariah came to be, how she was with Noah at the time and Mariah was with Devon. She even mentioned the journal, and it all just, that all seems like ancient history to me. And it's also not so terribly relevant to what was even going on with Daniel. But yeah, Tessa's the best. I kind of wish she would have clued him in that he was fighting a losing battle. I really don't see how Daniel would have any legal leg to stand on. He wants to get the Princess Louisa game back. That's all he wants. That's all he needs. He called Princess Louisa a love letter to my kid. Well, yeah, but it was a love letter that you sold for a big fat juicy check. Just when I think I'm over Ashley's multiple personalities, boom, she gets a new outfit. She's like my life-size Barbie doll. I'm playing with her, and then I get kind of bored, but then we go to the store and buy the exact same doll, but with a new dress, and then boom, I'm back in on my Barbie Ashley. I mean, that's the thing to talk about, the dress. The garden getup that she was wearing. I mean, it just, the print would have been fine in a small amount, but it was like neck to ankle to wrist floral print. Literally, the dress went all the way down her arm and onto her hand. She looked like a garden center, especially when they were outside at Chancellor Park and she was standing in front of the rose wall, in front, like wearing a rose print at the same time. It was overwhelming. It was an overwhelming amount of rose. Oh, I have never in my life felt overwhelmed by rose. Until now. I think Y&R has given my life a whole new dimension right now, like, that I've just never experienced before. Overwhelmed by rose. You learn something new every day. You feel something new every week. Oh. But I hate to admit it, but this is all this storyline is about for me right now. Playing with my Barbie doll. Swapping out the outfits. Waiting for Tucker to get shot. Even though he's not going to. Because Alan's going to take the bullet. And he kind of deserves it. I mean, what is Alan even doing here? For 2 weeks, this guy has done nothing but let Ashley rub up against him and then push him away. He hasn't even once suggested that she go see a psychiatrist, if not him. He hasn't even once suggested that maybe she might need some medication. This guy is just on vacation. So I say send him on permanent vacation already. Audra thought she was going on vacation. Aww. Doesn't she know that romantic vacations never happen? They are always canceled. Sorry, Audra. You have to go to rehab if you want a break from this town. Holla, Nikki. Hey, Nikki. How you doing? Can't wait to see you next week. Hope you had a good time. You look rested and relaxed. Oh. Well, okay, when Devon told Tucker to jump, and Tucker said, how high? Don't call me Tucker, call me Jumper. And then when Tucker asked Audra to postpone their trip, she said bye-bye. Nope, bye-bye. For about the 100th time. I mean, honestly, how many times has Audra proclaimed that she is done with Tucker, only to end up back in his bed in a week or two? I guess that's just the dynamic of their relationship, though. Oh, honestly, I think Audra has jumped the gun pretty hard here. Audra gave Sally some really good advice early in the week about her career, telling Sally to follow her heart and get right back into her design business. Well, I wish that Audra would have taken Sally's advice in return and maybe give Tucker a chance to reconnect with his son if that's what's important to him. I mean, it really shouldn't have to be a choice. Tucker can love his son and love Audra at the same time, but she doesn't see it that way. She feels like this is Tucker once again putting everyone else's needs before hers, putting her last on the list. And I can see that perspective too. Audra wants what she wants, and she's already had to wait for years to get him to come around. I can understand where she's impatient and doesn't want to wait anymore. Also, I think there's an element here where Audra's a little bit afraid. I think Audra started to let herself get comfortable with Tucker. She started to believe that it was all true. And I think she's freaking out at the first sign or a sign that maybe she was wrong. I think she let herself be vulnerable with him, and now she's kind of using this as an excuse to justify that maybe she was right, or she's using it as an excuse to run. And now she's got Nate sniffing around, always willing to talk disparagingly about Tucker, and therefore perfectly willing to help her screw him over, which to me seems rash. A little rash. He canceled our vacation. I must steal his company from him. Only in Genoa City. I am starting to think that what's going on with Connor is actually a really good story, because it gets me fired up. Every time this topic comes up, every time I see a scene with Adam and Chelsea, every time the thought of Connor comes up, I fly into a mental rage. Connor went into this hospital school a screwy but mostly okay kid who just needed some practical coping tools. And now he is isolated, he is alone, he is terrified, and he is beating himself up physically. When is enough enough? Like, this is truly insanity to me, that they're rationalizing this as a good thing. Like, he's worse off than he was before, and now Adam and Chelsea are, I guess, stuck following through with it, because if they yank him out now, then who knows what effect that could have. I think Adam and Chelsea are just both projecting their own insecurities onto this situation so hard. Chelsea is projecting that Connor is going to turn out suicidal like she was. And I think Adam is projecting that he is going to be a terrible father the way that his father was. And now they're both just stuck, hoping upon hope that someone else is gonna fix this. And it's not working. And I like this, the situation with this school is mind-blowing. Like, has anyone tried searching Faceplace about this school? Because, like, are there not tons of parents out there right now leaving negative reviews about this juvenile insane asylum? I need someone to help balance me out on this one. Is there anyone out there who thinks that Adam and Chelsea are making the right move here? And I'm not asking for you to come forward so that, you know, anybody can rip on you or whatever. I genuinely want to hear a perspective from someone who thinks that Adam and Chelsea are doing the right thing by keeping him in this school. You know, do you feel that way? Anyone? Is anyone out there moved by Adam and Chelsea comforting each other and reassuring each other that they are doing everything right? Or is this all just complete voodoo to everyone else too? I don't know. Please leave me some comments this week and somebody tell me how this all makes sense. You learn something new every day. I would like to learn something new today. But who said it? You learn something new every day. That was Cole learning about what ducks eat. Now Cole knows what ducks eat. Peas and oats. And he learned it. And you guessed it, wonderful Wendy, Hannah, and Ron, Tanya, Dolores, Henry, Tina Lynn, there you are, Justin and Brittany, congratulations. You guys all guessed that it was Cole. Who said it? Okay, now who said this? I need to taste my success. I need to taste my success. Who said it? If you think you know, go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, then I will give you your shout out during next week's Y&R Chat. All right. How about this comment from Gary, who says, you have to know I love it when these soap kids perform their athletic prowess just behind the cameras in Chancellor Park Town Square for the whooping it up proud parents. It was always Harrison performing those Herculean feats, and now young Dominic has grown to a place where he's topping the monkey bars. Only I don't believe it. That's very wise of you, Gary. Don't fall for it. There's no monkey bars just beyond that park area. There's no soccer field, nothing. It is all a lie. But I will tell you what is not a lie. Connor should be at Chancellor Park right now, feeding the ducks with Harrison. That's where Connor should be. Oh my gosh. Sharon W. says, our Chatter family is asking for it. Adam and Chelsea, go get Connor. If you need moral support, take Sally and Billy with you. Between the four of you, you should be able to break Connor out of that facility. Oh, gosh. Tina Cole says, Chelsea and Adam need to go get Connor out of this dungeon therapy school ASAP. They were told that they could visit, and then once they get there, all of a sudden they can't see Connor because he's punching himself. I would punch my way through that door to see my son for that exact reason. And I am surprised that Adam didn't do just that. Seriously. Seriously. This whole week was just Adam coming around. Like, no, I was wrong, but we really got to stick with this. No, you don't. The kid went in saying, I love you, Mom and Dad, bye. And the second they left, it was like Connor thinks that they're the problem. And now he's hitting himself and abusing himself, like, and they're giving him who knows what kind of medication. Like, does Y&R think that we're all, like, are they expecting us to, like, think this is rational? Or did they just really miss the mark of what we would be feeling at this point? I feel like it's being played for, like, I feel like I'm supposed to be supporting Adam and Chelsea here. Like it's supposed to make sense and it just doesn't. Connie says, parenting is a verb. Chelsea and or Adam need to go get Connor, reassure him that he is a priority, worthy of unconditional love, and be by his side during recovery. A sick child, whether it be physical or mental, is still a sick child. A parent would never allow a hospitalized child to be left alone, whether they are young or old. Go be with him for inpatient care, or better yet, go get him and bring him home for outpatient care. Hell yes, Connie. Hell yes. And Brent says, well said, Connie. It's past the time for Adam and Chelsea to take charge of this situation. Every parenting instinct within both of them is screaming, get Connor out of this place. Why don't they trust those instincts? Because these experts have PhDs and MDs? Surely they know that even doctors, experts, and institutions can be wrong or misguided. I guarantee they could find plenty of doctors and psychologists who would tell them the same thing. Neither parent has a lack of self-confidence in other areas of their lives, but in this situation, give me a break. Also, at least one of them said or implied on yesterday's episode that their bad attitude about this treatment plan was making Connor's situation worse. How? They haven't even seen him recently. Connor isn't suffering from his parents' bad juju. He's suffering in part from his parents' well-intentioned but still harmful abdication of parenting responsibilities. Go get that child. Wrap your arms around him and don't let him go until you are far away from that horrible institution. I feel better now. I'm just glad it's not just me. I'm willing to let you guys rip because it just makes me feel like, okay, well, I'm not so far off. All right, so let me get myself back under control. And we'll read this about Summer and Kyle. Sharon W. says, great scene again between Summer and Kyle on Friday. He seemed to actually see her point of view when she tells him that Claire could not possibly change from a dire threat to a perfectly saving grace for Harrison at the drop of a hat. However, at the end of the scene, he asks Harrison what he thought about Claire becoming his nanny. Yeah, Sharon W., I know, it's like, he seemed like he understood what she was saying, and I think she was being perfectly rational, and then he just turned around and flipped it and went over her head about it. I didn't like that one bit, and I'm interested to see how she's going to react, because if she says no, then she looks like the bad guy in Harrison's eyes, which is exactly what Kyle knew would happen. He forced her hand. I don't like it. But anything about the children on the show, it just gets me all fired up. But I guess, you know, that's a good thing, though. I mean, maybe Y&R knew what they were doing and knew it was going to get me all fired up. And they said, let's make the chatters crazy with these kids' storylines. And then there'll be some good Y&R chats that we can mine for comments. Oh, yeah. Sharon W. also says, so far the writers have given Esther such a small role in the Genoa City storylines. However, when Esther is highlighted in the story, she is so enjoyable to watch. Yeah, I enjoyed seeing Esther in both of her places of employment this week. She had the scene at Crimson Lights with Kyle and Claire, and no rainbow sprinkles. And then she had the scene with the Chancellor Winter drama. Now let's talk about that. Connie says, Devon is taking such a disappointing turn. He automatically assumes Billy is lying before Jill can confirm or deny that she's put her son in charge. He's scheming to sway Abby to mistrust her uncle before any conflict has occurred. He refuses to let Tucker attend his school's musical recital because he doesn't trust him. But the second that Lily confirms that Billy's telling the truth and in charge, he immediately seeks out Tucker to ask for help. Can a grown man still be considered a spoiled brat, or is he just power hungry? Either way, I'm saddened that he's forgetting that Neil raised him better than to be this. Yeah, I know. It was just like flying off the handle about the whole thing. It wasn't like Billy was ever going to be in charge of the whole company, period. I mean, it's a partnership still. Well, Sherrod says, but Devon is not wrong about not trusting Billy, and even Jill for that matter. Not too long ago, Jill herself was saying how Billy was not to be trusted. That's why she put Lily in charge of her company. But because Mamie came into town, Jill's putting Billy in charge because she knows he will use his obsession for power to destroy anyone and anything to get to it. I don't blame Devon for going to Tucker. He can do the dirty work that Devon is not able or willing to do. But to me, simple solution, separate the companies like Mamie suggested. Devon gets his own back and can be in charge, and I blame Lily for cajoling him to merge them in the first place. Now I wish Devon had won when he tried to take his company back. Oh yeah, that's right, I forgot. Devon tried to undo the merger, and they wouldn't let him. Yeah, I don't know. All of this drama at Chancellor Winters, I'm kind of curious to know who you guys are rooting for. So let's make that a poll question for the week. Chancellor versus Winters. Which side are you rooting for? Gosh, I don't know. I think I'm rooting for Tucker. I'm rooting for Tucker, whatever side he's on. But YRChat.com, you can pick from one of those, Chancellors or Winters, and let me know who you're kind of rooting for. I kind of love this. Brent says, there's no way that Tucker's going to get back into Devon's good graces by doing the thing that put him out of the good graces in the first place. Yeah, Brent, boom. That's right. It's like, okay, well, if Tucker does underhanded things, then Devon's going to disown him until Devon wants Tucker to do one of the underhanded things that helps benefit him, and then he's going to support it. It's just, was it Connie who said he's just kind of a spoiled brat? Yeah. Devon's been given a lot of leeway for a lot of years. Devon's gotten a lot of what he wanted for a long time. And he is spoiled. He is stubborn. Well, Dolores says, oh, Audra, I can see how you feel that Tucker always appears to put you and your plans second to others. However, listen to your friend Sally, not Nate. She, Sally, tried to get you to remember and think deeply about the situation, as well as, most of all, Tucker does love you, Audra. Slow down, take a deep breath, reconsider any rash plans. You're a part of a much bigger plan and powerful place. Help Tucker in his quest this time and be there for him when his efforts to get a better place with his son fails. He'll need you most. That's just my view from afar. Yeah, I mean, Audra is all reaction right now, and I don't think it's going to last. I mean, she had the meeting with Nate on Friday, and she's talking about going to Paris, going through and going to Paris, and then taking this company away from him. I just don't even see it happening. Sue W says, I definitely enjoy both the Audra and Tucker characters along with the role that each brings to Y&R, separately and or together. They're soapy and fun to watch. But I can't say I have much empathy for either character with regard to, well, just about anything. Maybe a bit for Tucker when it comes to Dom. But I feel like Audra and Tucker each easily change their feelings about anything at, I don't know, any whim or just the situation of the minute. Not sure I ever get genuine vibes from either one of them. So for me, it's a shrug. Yeah, Sue W, and I was thinking of you this week too when Audra was talking about her time as an artist, because I think it was you that brought it up last week that we just don't know enough about Audra. It's just like little bits and little seeds here and there. Alcoholic father used to be an artist, you know, like little seeds here and there, but nothing that you're really sinking your teeth into. And then this week, Audra was talking to Sally about how she used to be an artist, and I was like, okay, well, I guess that's Y&R's way of trying to fill in her blanks a little bit. But I almost can't picture Audra as an artist. Like, what's the outfit that goes with that? I don't know. Did she wear, like, did she wear t-shirts when she was an artist? Because I just can't picture. I have so many questions, and I just can't picture it. Like, can you even imagine Audra wearing a clay splattered t-shirt? I can't, and therefore it gets in the way of the believability of the story for me. Naomi says, Abby, speaking of dress, is beautiful today as usual, and she is appropriately dressed for watching Dom play at the park. Her jeans, simple top, and cute jacket are perfect. And Victoria says, only Melissa Ordway could pull off ankle pants with studs on the outside of her entire legs. Most of us wearing those would look as white as a barn door. No need to look them up. They're worn on TV. Somebody may try to buy advertising on my pair of pants if I did this. Yes, Abby looked lovely. She is a fashion queen. Oh, this is from Biscuit Sandwich Rush, who says, I listened to your Soap Kids pod this morning. Good job. I remember feeling bad for Abby and how much you used to not like her. Yeah, I used to have trouble with Abby, or the Melissa Ordway Abby. She just grated on my nerves, and I had such a hard time getting over it. But I kind of wonder if it was that storyline with screwy soap kid Max pushing her down the stairs and causing her to miscarriage. I kind of wonder if it was that story that turned me around, because seeing Abby go through that, I think, really connected me to her, and now I love her. I love her, and she's easily the most well-dressed member of Genoa City society. It is good to be back at Chancellor Park, by the way. Catherine Chancellor, did you know her? Girl, she was my godmother. I chuckled. Did you know her? Whatever. Leading question. Moving on. I asked you guys last week how you're feeling about the Ashley storyline, and if you're wanting more of the Ashley show or less. 57% of you are still liking it, still on board with it, wanting more. 43% wanting less. Tony says it's all too confusing. Each of the Ashleys wants something else, and none are compelling toward a goal. You know, I kind of agree with you there, Tony, because it's like Southern Belle Ashley's entertaining to watch, but her goal in getting the doctor is not that compelling to me. She-Devil Ashley is compelling to watch, but her goal in killing Tucker just kind of, it's like, okay, well, I guess that's the plot, so I guess we'll get to that, and the previews seem to indicate that maybe that'll happen next week. Then we had the younger teeny Ashley, who seemed like maybe she was coming back a little bit this week. I don't know. The Southern Belle and the teen are just a little close to me, and I don't know what the teeny bopper Ashley went. She doesn't seem to really have a goal. So yeah, I know, for me it's just all about swapping out the outfits at this point. So I hope we get a new outfit next week, or I might be out. Sue W. also voted less Ashley, saying, my less answer surprises me. I've always been a fan of Eileen Davidson as well as the Ashley character, but even while many other viewers have complained about the character being nasty and unlikable. But all the Ashleys are starting to lean toward dud, not did for me. That's D-U-D, dud, not D-I-D for me. I got it. I know Eileen Davidson can do it all. I don't need to be inundated with more variety. I'll take the old mentally sound Ashley back, please, thank you. She's always served up plenty of interest enough for me, and she's earned and keeps my respect for the actress. So, more back to regular Ashley, please. No Ashley or all Ashleys. We'll keep them all. Yeah, you know, but Dolores says, of all Ashley's alters to date, Belle has become my favorite. Her playfulness and flirtatious moments with her friend Alan are such a hoot. Belle, as she thinks, looking for love by hooking up, has been funny and sometimes funny to watch. Eileen Davidson has been masterful in her portrayal of all the different ladies with her DID storyline. She is just awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, and I agree with Sue W. too. It's like I didn't really need reminding that Eileen Davidson is awesome. She certainly is awesome. Yeah. Victoria says the conversations between Southern Ashley and Audra were delightful. It was so tongue-in-cheek on Ashley's part and standoffish on Audra's. I loved it, and I can certainly take more of these different Ashleys. I find them very interesting. Yeah, they were pretty good together. And Sharon W. says, I loved seeing Alan and Ashley interacting with each other on Tuesday. She has convinced him to stay in Genoa City for a while. She actually told him today to stay as long as he possibly can. Her new multicolored, multi-flowered dress today made quite an entrance into society when she approached Audra. The shocked look Audra gave her when she walked up to the table was priceless. In every scene, Ashley is able to convey more playfulness, silliness, and sexiness for anyone in her path. I have to tell you guys, I don't care about Alan. I mean, I guess you guessed that already, but I don't care about Alan. He hasn't done anything for her. He is just a prop for her. He's going to need to do something soon or get shot. New topic. Naomi says, I'm worried about Daniel. I'm afraid he's going to do something stupid, like drunk drive, or be so upset that he blindly walks into traffic. He is sinking further into despair and seems on the edge of becoming the person he used to be, as opposed to NTPA, not the person I used to be. I love that. He's maybe going to become the person he used to be, not the person I used to be, which is far more common. Well, Henry says, I am so happy that Christine turned the opportunity down to represent a client and go on tour with Danny. She and Danny really rubbed Phyllis's nose in it. I just wish either Danny or Cricket would have exclaimed, what part of get lost don't you understand? I hope that the reuniting of Danny and Cricket will last and that Phyllis will finally leave them alone. You know what I kept thinking during that scene, Henry, was why doesn't Danny say something? He just sits there and just observes the drama and lets Phyllis and Chris go at it, and he's just kind of like, He has been zero amount assertive with Phyllis, and that's part of the reason why they got where they were. He needed to put his foot down with Phyllis a long time ago, and he's really not learned to do that even in all of these years. Oh, but Diana says, I was so happy to see that Christine decided to go on tour with Danny. Yay! Plot twist, as Christine said, this was very unexpected. I'm not sure if Y&R always planned for the pair to do this or if it was a last-minute decision. I'm glad that the story wasn't left that Christine chose her career over Danny after they just found each other again. I I hope this means that we'll be seeing more of them on the show when they get back from Danny's tour. I really hope that Y&R has a new storyline planned for them. I don't think we'll be seeing Phyllis stalking them on the tour as I once thought. Allie mentioned that she foresees a love triangle between Nick, Sharon, and Phyllis, but with all due respect to Allie and Y&R, we have been there and done that. How about a love triangle with Nick, Christine, and Danny? I have mentioned before about Christine hooking up with Nick, as we don't see older women with younger men on the show. This will be the perfect opportunity. Nick is single, and all three of these characters are hot. This would also be totally unexpected by the viewers. Y&R should seize the opportunity to think outside the box and take a chance on something fun and new. Yeah, you got me. You sold me. Danny and Chris and Nick triangle. I think that would be really, really fun. I'm totally up for something new. And as you said, Nick and Christine definitely had that moment between each other several years ago, so it's possible. Yeah, you're right. If it's going to be a triangle, it probably should be something new. I keep also still wondering if Y&R is thinking about Nick and Lily. I don't know. What happens to Phyllis then? Who will end up in Phyllis's web? That's the question. Kamna says, my favorite scene of the week was when Phyllis says to Daniel, I'm worried that your father has lost his mind, with a complete serious look. Clearly the writers are playing with us because Victor is the one who lost his mind. Yes, and ending on this from Gary, who says, to Aunt Jordan Howard, you gotta eat your spinach. I mean Brussels sprouts, baby. Yes. I'm strong to the finish, 'cause I eats me spinach. I'm Aunt Jordan, the woman and man. Oh my goodness, there's not very many Popeye references. I haven't had, that in today's anything. Popeye's kind of fallen off of the public consciousness, but here he is in my consciousness right now. He's strong to the finish. Ooh, Popeye, strong to the finish he is. With his finish. Oh my goodness, you guys. That's a Y&R chat. That's me. That's me, my part of it. Now it's your turn. I'm passing the torch to you. Go to yrchat.com to leave your comments for the week. Don't forget to go to GenoaCitySoap.com too and pick up the Soap Kids Are Screwy Special Edition Y&R Chat Flashback episode. I'm working on the next one too. I'm having a lot of fun going back listening to some old Y&R chats about some really classic moments, classic stories, and I think the next one is going to be even better. So that's it for me for today, but I will be back next Sunday to chat all over again. I love you and I hope you have a wonderful week. I'll see you next Sunday. Bye.